just as far as the job that we're doing, if you want to look at page 2, Sean will talk to you about the letter we received just this last year from Ellison Associates.
After our audits, we get 3 each summer. If we do good enough, they'll give us an award, and this is what we got. We got a silver award for 2007 season, and that means we scored in the top 38% of our audit criteria. This shows our professionalism, that they came in and watched us, and it basically says we're doing good at what we're supposed to be doing.
So that's all the information that we want to give to the council members before we begin a discussion, just from our own research and things. So we don't know what a ballpark, I mean, if the council would be willing to consider an increase, or where the council stands on this. I guess we would need to find out first before we proceed.
Anybody have questions?
And any questions about any of the stuff we presented?
Why did you present this where you guys accepted the job position? It's kind of difficult or unethical to accept a job and then later on say, well, I'm worth more money, I want a raise. If I tried that in a business, I would not get hired. And I'm not saying you're not worth more money, because
no.
I do believe you are. I just wish we'd seen something like this at the beginning of the season when you guys accepted this. That's where I'm
when we were issued our contracts, there was a great deal of discussion among the lifeguards themselves about how there was no representation of, I mean, I know the Iowa minimum wage law doesn't apply to part-time employment under, or at least for pools, but there was seasonal, sorry. However, there was a great discussion that since that went up, and I don't believe that the lifeguard wage, or the starting wage, has changed in quite some time, that a lot of the guards felt that they had been short-handed when they had been issued their contracts. Now, I think I received my contract about a week before the pool opened, approximately.
Did you receive that contract from Mike?
It's from the city office.
We mail it out after.
But who presents it to us? Mike?
Who presents what? The names?
The names and the information.
The names are presented to us by Mike, and then we send them out. Once we approve the hiring, we send them out a copy of
Because
contract.
Mike should have come in then, right off the bat.
Well,
Came in before these contracts were even issued.
And in his discussion with me about this, because I felt obligated to talk to him about it after I'd heard a lot of grumbling here and there, it was just a complete oversight. He didn't even know that the minimum wage thing had occurred. He wasn't aware of that because he was on salary with the pool, so it didn't affect his position there. So I don't know if Adam was aware of what things had been in the past, or where things stood, if a pay increase was necessary or not. But I think as far as Mike was concerned, it was kind of everything he thought was the same still, so he moved to approve because that's the way things have worked in the past.
Josh, has anybody not accepted their contract due to the wages that are being paid that you know of?
I know there's been talk about not accepting contracts, and I know there has been at least a few guards that have talked about not being employed or canceling their contracts. I don't know what they would go through,
There's no
but
one
because
who's been working without a contract, that's correct?
I'm not sure. I don't have that information.
I tried to make it explicitly clear to Mike that no one was to be working without a signed contract. Because actually you are not a city employee, you are trespassing at the pool without an employment contract.
It is my belief that everyone has. However, I don't want to say, yes, they have, and then come back and say, well, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's one of the disappointments of not having Mike here this evening. We can't answer that question.
And he's really sorry. He has the school board meeting, I believe, this is prior commitment that he has to be at the moment. So he was going to try and make it up if he gets done that. And if you have any questions about anything, too, that I can't answer or that we can't answer, he said be free to call him whenever you can get a hold of him. where that leaves us now, but.
Is there any further discussion or questions from the council?
I think they're good work on it, but this isn't totally equal.
No.
I will say just one or two words. The cities that we try to use for our comparison purposes were based upon size of the pool, location, population size. Those factors were attempted to use to determine what pools would be the ideal ones to use for our comparison purposes. If you look at our comparison, we fall in about the 50% range, or very close to the 50% range, in comparison to the cities that we did an evaluation on. Now, I can't particularly speak to the cities that were used for your purposes, as far as whether or not those factors were weighed when comparisons were done, on whether or not it was a particular size of the community or the size of the pool, or even one of the things we noticed when we spoke with Glidden is they ended up being the high range of our spectrum, and they even made it a particular point to tell us that the reason why they charge the high range is because they compete with Carroll for employment for their guards, that they can go to Carroll and make more money. So there's more competition in the marketplace.
No, I think these contracts should have been sent out long before, a week before the employment started, because these guys didn't even have a chance to, look over what the contract said, and even had a chance to have a meeting amongst themselves with Mike to approve or disapprove. So I think the city's kind of at fault.
That was not totally true, because Mike had to try to get the applications in the feed this school. He did not.
Because we can't send them out till we know who we're going to be offering a contract to.
But they should have been sent out before.
To me, I think in the future, if we budget $30,000, we ought to let Mike Fisher determine what he wants to pay. Shouldn't be our business what he pays.
That is an option in the future.
He paid for manager, but should be part of that, I would think. If he wants to pay minimum wage, then he's just going to have to either hire less guards or whatever. But as far as this year, I don't think we should do much different.
Now, one of the things I will also say that the numbers that we did in-house did not mesh completely with your estimates based upon your salary ranges. We based our numbers on actual payouts against the salary line item for the full budget. And I found that ours didn't necessarily meet the exact numbers that you had. However, if you factor in the $6,500, one of the things you have to look at is we show, I guess what I'm saying is our numbers are a little bit different when you look at actual spend compared to what was budgeted. So it's a little odd. I'm concerned where these numbers will be coming from and how they be factored in. Because have we had instances, and this is where I rely on you as being experienced up there in the pool, how many circumstances have occurred that you're aware of where overtimes that had to be paid?
Overtime's never been paid to a pool employee.
Okay, that's the question I had because...
And I mean, we work holidays, 4th of July, pool guards are up there.
Well, I know one discussion that went on between you and I when I came up there was the discussion of, in the future also, some consideration should possibly be considered for those who work after a particular time in the evening. That should be a factor that should be considered if you've got individuals who are working in the evening times as compared to the daytime, when it might be more competitive over time and activities.
Yeah, and I'd just like to, comment that we appreciate the work that you folks do up there. We're putting in the responsibility position of essentially burying swimmers with their lives. So we don't misconstrue this that we're not interested in the work that you do. We're glad to have you up there. So we're just really talking about a process as opposed to anything personally with any of you folks. So we do thank you for the work that you're doing. We're just dealing with a process situation.